Vigilante Williamson here with the third episode of my WandaVision review series. I say third episode because on the first two episodes, I doubled up with episodes. And I am not alone. I have none other than Jake D riding with me.
V-Dub, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing good. And this was a really, really good episode of WandaVision. And I appreciate you joining me, man.
You bet, man. And then it's we were commenting before the stream that for some reason we both chose baseball, and we're honoring 2016 here. We got the Cubs versus the Indians.
Indians, yeah. Honor just the Midwest in general, I guess.
Hell yes.
Shout out to the Midwest. Got show love for the home team. See who's in the chat with us. We have Tupac back from the dead, and even before the stream, I got to show love to Robert, who is another episode. He's already in. He's into it. I appreciate it. And I was Jake D. Hell you, double, because you're in the chat as well. Watch Wanda episode 5 to be up to date on this review. I appreciate that, Tupac. Hell sentient dildo. Sentient, because Matt will get mad at me if I say sentient. All righty. I like to start off with a little non-spoiler talk and then get into spoilers, then kind of go through what happened. That's kind of the format I've been running. So, like, before we get into spoilers, what did you think of this episode of WandaVision?
This episode was really, really well done. They've shifted gears significantly. So the first two episodes that dropped concurrently, in particular, they were about the nuance and the layers and the creation of this fabricated reality, right? And we saw that in As If We Were Sword, honestly, right? So we were kind of in Sword's point of view, watching the episodes as they occurred, and now they've shifted where we've seen through the cracks, and we're getting a more real view of what's happening inside this reality that presumably Wanda has created. She's certainly maintaining it. And so the change in the focus has been good for the show. And I like how they've progressed through that over the 5 episodes. So, I mean, to me, absolutely solid. I'm running in at similar to you, 9.5 out of 10 on this episode. It was really good.
Yeah, literally, there's one moment that took that half a point away, and we'll get into it, and you probably know which moment I'm talking about, because it literally took me out of it because it was so good. Everything was so good and tense, and it's one moment later when we get into spoilers, just like, you motherfuckers, you just couldn't leave it alone. You couldn't leave love alone. I couldn't take it. But I have to agree with everything you said. I mean, everything had been set up to the point where my least favorite episode 4, is now much better because of this episode. So I have to almost give that an extra point, because it was, in any series, you do need to set things up. And there's nothing wrong with taking it slow or taking it in a direction. Even though Kat Dennings, I'm still not forgiving. She's still annoying as hell.
It nails on a chalkboard, her voice.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, you can... I've seen her funny and interesting. Like, I've seen her play. Fireball talked about it. Wasn't she? It was a Seth Rogen, Adam Sandler comedy, and she was the love interest, and she was good in that.
Yep.
And I can't think of the movie.
Sentient Dildo has commented on her amazing assets, and I,
boobs, bro, man. But listen, that's not enough, man. I get it. The nails in the chalkboard. Oh my god, that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I can't stand her voice.
Didn't have the intersection of BS. Would have gave it an A- or did so B-. I didn't mind some of the Vision's dialogue was top notch. Paul Bettany has been top notch.
Oh god, he's good.
He's really good. He's really good.
And the attention to detail on his changes over the time frame is so good. the way his hair changes when he's in his human face,
Yeah.
it's great.
Everything's great. And I noticed you talk about boobs. He does not skip chest day because he's like he's coming up to those little sweaters. He does not skip chest day. So he's got me ready to like I've been talking about going back to I'm starting to go back to the gym. I gotta get right. But yeah, his dialogue and his acting and the way he's uncovering things has been great because he's been uncovering things for a few episodes now and starting to piece together something's not right.
Yep.
And that's been great. Everything they've set up to get to this episode is great, and it actually rose the stakes for the whole series. I was talking to like family and friends about this episode because I was like, "Yeah, I didn't think this was going to be good, but this is really good."
Yeah, we said it a few times in some of the other streams we've been on talking about this, but the creativity and the originality of this series, in terms of anything else that the MCU and Feige have done, it's off the charts.
Yeah, this is honestly been beyond what they've ever done with the MCU as far as like as far as having something that's layered, having something that's not as blatant. And I mean, the MCU has been mainly action set pieces and one-liners, and that's been fun. And we've liked a lot of that, but that's what the MCU has usually been. So to have something that's, none of that, it is great. What else do I want to say before I get into spoilers? Agnes is still great. Agnes is great.
Love Agnes.
And I think she's somebody special.
Agnes.
Yeah. I think it's starting to become apparent that she's somebody in particular that's pretty special. Who I think may be the toy spoiler. I think there's a possibility there's that if that toy spoiler is correct, because I covered it on my episode. I'm not going to reference what that spoiler is because it may be nothing. But I think she's going to end up being an important character. And another thing is the set. You talked about how Vision's hair changes. I actually have the episode going in the background to kind of remind myself of things. The set and the attention to detail. And they're still going with this love letter to sitcoms thing, which I absolutely love. The love letter to Roseanne, which I know she's not the most beloved person in their circles, but that series still is beloved. Or the love letter to the Brady Bunch or any other great TV series. They're still doing it with the sets and the way people are dressed and the hair and
the hair was so good in this episode. Wanda's hair was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
And the opening credits were an homage to Family Ties.
Family Ties, yes.
It was good.
It is good. That I hope, I don't know, every generation didn't grow up with like reruns. Like I don't know if this generation had. I mean, Nick and Knight was around, right? Like, because I grew up either with these shows either existing as live shows or the reruns or like Nick and Knight or whatever else. So like I do have like a knowledge for a lot of these shows, and that is that's more of a prerequisite than the MCU itself. Ironically enough,
it's funny. Just another red shirt. The red shirt.
Obviously,
is watching WandaVision based on the fact that we like it. And he's not an MCU guy at all. Yeah. And he's enjoying the shit out of this.
Yes. I mean, he's talked about feeling sometimes lost because of that, but I feel like this is still an enjoyable series because it's more about the love letter to the sitcoms than it is the MCU.
Yes. Yeah. And God, the nuance though, that I haven't seen anything maybe out of any production company in recent memory with the layers and the nuance that's built into this show, at least for the past decade.
I'd agree. This is a throwback almost to the 2000s where you had all these great shows, maybe not the past half decade, I would say, because a lot of these shows were wrapping up in the beginning of the 10s, like where you had, and these are going to be different genres I'm talking about, but even the Breaking Bads, the Mad Men, the Wire, the Shield, whatever type of good drama from the 2000s you liked, it had this level of nuance to it, and it's good to see that. And I
Yes.
said, I can't wait till all, people talk about binging. I love the week to week model that has made
Oh
this
yeah.
series so much better. But as a fan, I can't wait till the series is done to go back and binge and watch and see all the details I'm missing out on, because there's so much detail to the
Yes.
background, to the hair, to the colors, to the
The
acting, to the subtlety of everything.
the painted tarp backgrounds in the third episode
Yes.
were such a nice touch. It was
Yeah.
so good because that was so 70s TV. It was.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what we got in the commenting. After the voice was grating. Kat Dennings finished first episode. Look promising. Yeah, check out the whole series. You may want to leave when we get to the spoiler section. Boss's wife freaking out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was so great.
Stop
it.
Yeah.
Stop it. And another thing, casting her in that spot is an homage to sitcoms. You know what I mean? She was a perfect casting. Katie Foreman. I can't remember the actress's name.
Yeah. She's so good.
Hell, good place.
That's not one I've seen. So I can't comment on that one, Kit Falbo, but have you seen that, V-Dub?
Good Place? I've not seen that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. It's like they're in it's who is it? It's like Danson, I think. And they're in like heaven or limbo or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that. I haven't. So if that's a really good show, then maybe I should check that out. Top shows from the past few years: Russian Doll, Good Place, Expanse, which I know everyone loves here.
Till the last 4 episodes.
Till the last 4 episodes. Marvelous, Maisel, and Queen's Gambit. Some of these I have heard were really good, and ironically enough, that Russian Doll, which somebody who's maybe the bane of our existence, Leslie Headland, is in charge of that. But we'll see how she works with her acolyte. That's another story for another day. But I appreciate you, Kid Falbo. I love the Twitch that we're starting to get more of a Twitch contingent. So please sub to us on Twitch. We appreciate that here. Let's see what else we have in the chat. Here we go on.
It's a good comment. I like this.
Yeah, I didn't even repeat this. Also, the fact that it's Olsen girls, like a third extension of the Full House twins, always using the CNF face in the environments. Did not peep that, but that is a very good point. Don't mind spoilers. Okay, well, we'll still do a spoiler warning before we get into that, but that is a very good point. That in and of itself is a level of nuance.
Yes,
you're absolutely right. And then of course she has twins, which that hits like a punchline. That's
dude. I mean, it's just layer upon layer upon layer. It's good. It's
really good,
well planned, well written, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah. I mean, we really could go on without spoilers for a lot because there's so much detail that you have to check out. And I'm watching this opening, and just the homage to those type of openings. It's like so good. It gives you that warm, nostalgic feeling, as you watch that. And I genuinely do love that. And sometimes when the world is breaking apart, I'm almost upset. Like, let me just get a genuine piece of this TV. Like, one thing WandaVision has shown is like we could live with another 90s sitcom. You know what I mean? Yeah. We could just or another 80s-esque sitcom. And they have those. I know there was Fuller House. What was that show that puts you in mind of
they're bringing back Punky Brewster this year.
Are they? They're bringing back Punky Brewster. There's another show that's recent that is on ABC, and it puts you in mind of the Wonder Years a little bit. And I can't think if it's like the Robinsons or it's the family. There's another show that puts you in mind of an older type format. But like I think WandaVision has shown we could just use one of these sitcoms being done genuinely because of how great that style of writing is. It lends itself to a lot of fun, and it lends itself to a lot of warmth that I think TV is lacking.
Agreed.
Man, you know something about Kat Dennings? When you watch her with the sound off, it's a different experience. Because those assets, I didn't even notice the assets, but now that you don't have to hear that, sarcastic, feminism, sarcasm, it's like, whoa, I get it. Euphoria, Snowfall, Your Honor. So yeah, I guess you guys are in the chat. sticking up for the good shows that are out there. But you want to know something about a lot of these shows outside of maybe Queen's Gambit and Marvelous Miss Maisel, I guess got a little bit of hype, but a lot of these shows are not as hyped up. If you realize, you know what I mean? These are all good shows. I'm sure a lot of them I have not checked out, but they're not as hyped up as other shows. So I mean, I think part of the problem is good shows are not getting the respect they deserve. Maybe it's because it's delusion.
Well, how many of those were binge dropped?
Oh, I think a lot of them were, because I know a lot of this is Netflix.
The ones I've heard of, with the exception of Queen's Gambit, among those mentioned, were all weekly drops.
Yeah.
The ones I haven't heard of, and Tupac, you let us know, were those Netflix binge drops?
Yeah, a lot of them were Netflix's, and a lot of them, and even Expanse was binged until this year, right? Or they started off on TV, and then they went a couple years binge, and then they went back to this.
Yep,
I think that's how they went it. Yeah, hell, Stephanie Littlepage, appreciate it.
Glad to see you. Say hello to Captain Robert April for us.
Yeah, quality shows don't usually get hyped; they become popular years after. Yeah, that's usually how it works.
There's truth to that.
That's usually how it works. All right, we've gone long enough. I think it's safe to get into the spoilers of this episode and kind of talk about
spoiler time,
everything that's going on. So, spoiler warning: anyone who is just joining, we've already kind of done the pre-spoiler. Hell, who knew the salt must flow? Yes, the salt must flow. But there's no salt about this episode, except for one scene, which we'll get into. So yeah, spoiler thoughts. You know, I'll get into that scene. I'll talk about the negative first, and then we can gush on it. There's a scene where they're just talking. They're realizing how powerful Wanda is. They say, man, she could have probably taken home Thanos by herself and all this stuff. And she's the most powerful Avenger. And then this, no disrespect to the actor, but the character's gotten more soy as it's gone along. And he says, well, what about Captain Marvel? And it's like, you motherfucker. The whole show was going so good because it was showing and now I'm actually watching it now. It shows that Vision is Vision's body. Wanda stole it. And it's showing all the stuff that Wanda has gone about. And the whole thing is Monica Rambeau is trying to speak up for Wanda because she didn't kill her. But they're like trying to keep Wanda as a threat. But anyways, as they're discussing this motherfucker bigs up Captain Marvel, and it comes so out of nowhere.
But that look that Monica had when she was mentioned was good.
Yeah, and I get it. I know someone's going to say, well, Monica Rambeau, when she was a kid, she looked up to Captain Marvel because that's what the MCU did, and that's the story, and that's why. But her look was representative of me. Like, I don't want to hear this shit right now. Like, get out of here. So it kind of worked in that from her look standpoint, but that bugged me. And the intersection on this, there is a lot. I don't mind it because I don't mind as much as I dislike Kat Dennings. You know, she was in the first Thor movie. It's believable that she would be a doctor by now. Well, Monica Rambeau does have credibility. I'm okay with that little stuff.
The funny thing about Kat Dennings, Darcy, she was a political science major in the first Thor movie.
I do remember that, yes.
Poli-sci, not astrophysics.
Yes. Is it possible that somebody can make that switch? Not really.
Switch. It's a big switch.
But it is, enough time has passed that makes it, because it's the first Thor came out in 2011. That's a decade. A decade is enough time to, because I don't know, she hasn't really done anything, you know, relative to the MCU. I mean, that character hasn't existed, so it's not plausible. It's I'll give you that. I'll grant you that. I'm not gonna.
To be fair, after what she experienced in Thor, could she have rededicated her life?
Yeah.
Yes, and it has been a while. It's been a lot of years, 12, 13 years at least. So could she have shifted and become an astrophysics expert? I mean, okay, but let's be honest, she was a poli-sci major, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
She was not into the maths.
Okay, so he said all of them are weekly. One is on HBO, one is on FXX, and one is on Showtime. Talking about those series.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
That moment was a shocker when I had that. And then the Captain Marvel moment just took me out. I literally screamed and started punching the air. Like, why do you can't leave well enough alone? Okay. So here's the thing, and I get this. These are all nerds. You all have an awkward nerd in there, slightly related non sequitur that makes everything awkward. Talk about Justice League, and someone says, "What about Goku?" So I've talked about how Kat Dennings in the previous review. I get it. Kat Dennings is Paulie Paulette in NCIS. I get that trope. She just sucks at it. Like it is not just, I'm not gonna say she sucks at it. The character that she is given sucks. She's actually playing it well. It just sucks. They can make her work. They're choosing not to because they suck. They're trying to it's the one issue with this series. The way they write her characters, like you have to be more funny and charming to pull that off. And Kat Dennings is capable of being more funny and charming, but she has to be written indirectly to be more funny and charming. And the things that they are trying to do to make her more funny and charming just don't work. To me, in my opinion. I'm sure if you have a different one, that's fine. But I appreciate your feedback, Kid Falbo, and I get what you're saying. That is definitely a trope that that works. It just is not working for me.
Homer Kyle makes a fair observation here, right? And I think that's what we're asked to believe, which is not crazy. I mean, it's been a long time, and when you get involved in something like that, you would realistically have a decent shot at deciding to change your life. So, it's worth calling out that she was not presented to us as an astrophysics expert originally.
It is true. But like, it's been enough time. And it's also because of that, I'm sure any plugs that she needed to get on, like she was there with Thor. So it's like, oh yeah, we'll let you study it. Yeah, I get it. It works. I'm okay with it. It would have worked less if we, if Darcy had been a constant part of the MCU, and we hadn't heard, because was she just in the first two Thor movies, or was she in something else?
Yes, just those two. And so, the fact that she's been gone makes it more believable. Honestly,
yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Sure she got those A's. I am sure she got a lot of A's because she has double D's. I get it. She's strong, independent woman. She can do it all. Bigots. Yeah, we are being bigoted. But hey, I gave her a shout. But this is the thing. She is still annoying.
My buddy here is showing his white privilege. I'm just going to point that out.
Speaking of white privilege, we have Fenrir the Ice Wolf. How are you doing, man?
Greetings,
Fenrir,
I'm doing great. Did I make this WandaVision talk?
You did. We're in the spoiler talk right now.
Great.
Kid Falbo, the snap time may have influenced her as well. Open up those school slots. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you got 5 years of no snap. They need fucking there's going to probably be some fast tracking because hands-on tutoring is lit.
That sounds like a man speaking from experience.
She isn't even showing any cleavage, man. She does not have to, bro. She does not have to, bro.
Hell Tupac.
Still banging hits from the dad. So, Fenrir, since you just joined us, what do you think about WandaVision? You can include spoilers if you like.
Well, with the late episodes, I've been paying some attention to the director as a character, the guy director from Sword.
Yeah.
I'm paying some attention to him, and I'm getting some huge I'm vibes from him. The MCU hasn't shown I'm yet, right?
No, I don't think they have. Talking about AIM,
I'm getting some vibes from that guy. I don't know. I just have if by the end of all this he doesn't turn up in the Supreme Intelligence, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Could be. They're setting up a lot. They're using WandaVision to jump off like a lot of stuff.
The way he was breaking down Vision in his lab, it reminded me a lot about AIM.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, AIM.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
We did see AIM in Iron Man 3, and Guy Pearce's character was in charge of AIM in Iron Man. Was it 3 or was it 2? One of the Iron Man movies we got.
Well, we had Iron Man 1, where was basically the origins. Iron Man 2, where he had to deal with Whiplash, and 3 was about him going with a kid in the snow or something like that.
It was 3. Yeah, I thought it was 3.
Yeah. 3 had AIM. So it's been around. It does exist.
Yeah, Stephanie Lil Pay says it seems like Kat Dennings is playing the character more like her character on Two Broke Girls. And you know what? I think that still can work. It's just there's a the timing they use with her. Hell, Latino slant. Good morning, man. It is morning in the West Coast, but it is afternoon here. Hell, such a dildo. I found their pics a long time ago, before the OG fapping and me getting married. Yeah, I keep hearing that about Kat. I actually have not done that much research into Kat Dennings. Robert, who was here with the another episode in the chat, and I appreciate that. AIM was mishandled in 3. They don't seem like a global threat like they should be, and I don't think they've been referenced since 3. And they, you know what I mean? Have they been?
The only time. So yeah, we could be getting that. Could be something to do with what's going on with Sword. Wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think about it in terms of getting into the spoilers a little in depth? So, Agnes asked Wanda if she wanted her to take it from the top.
That was so fucking great. That was that was one of the better moments of the whole show. She's like, you want to take me from the top? And she was just so confused. So that implied to me, you know what that implies to me? That this is not the first season of this show. If that makes any sense. Like
it does.
Like this has maybe been going on a few times
for
over,
a long
and
time
that's why
before even this began.
Yes, and that's what that implied. And again, Agnes, and I'll keep calling the character Toy Spoiler instead of using the character's name. But I think Agnes is either the Toy Spoiler character who the Toy Spoiler could be incorrect. So you have to look it up to see what I mean by Toy Spoiler. And I'll let you guys do that in the chat. But the Toy Spoiler could be complete bunk. But if it is correct, and I think it is, I think there's something to it. I think Agnes is either that character themselves or somebody directly related to them, just because they have, unlike Herb and all the other people, or Norm, or all the other characters in the series that are being controlled by Wanda, she has a different level of sentience, and Wanda is so much more comfortable around her for some reason. Wanda doesn't care about showing her the powers. You know what I mean? So there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I don't think that Agnes is the Toy Spoiler.
Okay.
I think that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still leaning into Agnes is likely Agatha Harkness.
Oh, you know what? She could be. She could be. That does make sense. And Robert says
she definitely is Agatha.
I
mean, even when she offered to take the boys, I'm saying that when she offered to take care of the boys, that was a huge call to the comics when she took care of Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys are right. You guys are better than me and stuff.
Yeah.
Caroline got snapped, and now Max has to study astrophysics so they can bring her back to make it very shot. Shout out to Kid Fabo. Shout out to the Twitch contingent.
That's clever. That is clever, man. I like it.
It's really dope. Tupac Amaru. Yeah, he's back from the dead. He's in the chat. Latino Slant. Dropping bangers after death. Everyone's been doing a lot of research during lockdown. Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, I never do any research ever.
Not that type of research.
Never been to the hub ever.
Yeah, Robert. I think the panel's right. She's probably Agatha Harkness.
Yeah, she's a witch.
She's a witch. Westview more interesting writing than Westworld. Wow. Who would have thought we would have said that?
The equality. Westview, Westworld. Never saw that.
But that makes her husband Ralph. I think that, but she still will be related to this Toy Spoiler.
You know, I'm still not sure if there is a Ralph.
I think we'll find out. Ralph is the Toy Spoiler. If she's not her, I think it'll end up being. Is anyone a Sword of Vigilant? Was Vision's body not safe in Sword? Gomer Kyle, what's a hub? Hopefully you are
the hub.
The hub. Hopefully, maybe I don't know if maybe that's just an American thing, but don't figure out. You don't want to know what the hub is. Yeah, I heard that as well, and I was trying not to say it, but if the chat knows, you know what I mean. I'm trying not to spoil the series. But yeah,
well, I mean, it's a toy spoiler that's out there that supposedly there was some packaging that
Mephisto was
included
on it.
Mephisto and the Scarlet Witch, which they avoided saying very specifically in this episode.
Yeah, they still have not called her Scarlet Witch. They even made up, said something about the fact. Yeah, Ralph being Mephisto. I think that's a potential. Yep.
If there is,
if there is a Ralph, but yeah, they referenced the fact that she didn't have a nickname relative to everyone, and I'm like, they sure does not call her Scarlet Witch. Ignorant MFers.
You know, I had a buddy on Facebook ask about that scene.
Fimmer?
You all right, Fimmer?
Oh yeah, I'm great.
Okay, making sure. Darth Vader for a second.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So the question the guy asked was, why didn't they call out that she's the Scarlet Witch? They gave him the perfect opportunity to do it. And my response when my buddy asked this question was, you got to think back kind of outside the show. Yes, everybody who's a Marvel fan is aware that Wanda Maximoff is the Scarlet Witch. But until very recently, we had a separate rights issue between the main Marvel and the X-Men properties, right?
Yeah.
Which just came back home in the past 2 years with the Disney purchase of Fox.
Yeah, so the end of this episode is the first use of that.
Yes, and the Scarlet Witch name is an X-Men rights name. And
well, it's 50-50. 50-50 X-Men, 50-50 Avengers, because she's been part of both teams, just like her brother.
Yeah.
That's why they're allowed to use parts of both.
Right, but it was very clear neither Wanda nor Pietro were referred to as Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in the MCU prior to now. And whereas the Quicksilver name was used in the Fox universe, and we didn't have a Scarlet Witch in the Fox universe.
Well, we did, if you remember, in they implied she was Scarlet Witch when Magneto had his family.
Mm-hmm.
They implied his daughter was Scarlet Witch.
I'm gonna go more with that little girl was Polaris, because let's be honest, she was an only child basically, so it makes more sense of Polaris since she was her brother.
Yeah, so there wasn't really a Scarlet Witch in the X-Men universe, though, right? I mean, maybe there was somebody in an ancillary scene or whatever, but she wasn't a character.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
But those are X-Men names, and they've never been used. That was part of the whole rights adjudication between Fox and Marvel. So now I think the point of not calling her out as Scarlet Witch in that conversation, it relates back to those rights and the fact that they weren't part of this universe before. And it added to the weirdness of the scene at the end with the big reveal.
Yeah.
Right, which I think is not the major reveal of the series. That's like the second biggest reveal to me.
Yeah, and actually, we already have in the chat somebody. See, I wanted to try to stay spoiler free for everyone for what the series can be, but since it's going to be speculation, I can't help it. Do you guys think Magneto will be that big reveal that Jake D has been talking about? And that's the same rumor I heard. It is the rumor
I heard. Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I think. And
look, I only believe two people can make this reveal. It's either one, Magneto, for obvious reasons, or two, the High Evolutionary, because he's a big character when it has to do with Wanda and pretty much her brother, too.
Yeah.
Agreed, but is that really a Luke Skywalker moment?
Yeah, it's going to be Fassbender.
Well,
it's either going to be Fassbender or McKellen.
It really depends for the fans. Anyone who sees the character, hears the name, will know who that character is by just seeing. Normies won't know.
Well, yeah, so I'm not as deep into the comics lore as you two. I collected the comics when I was a kid, from the time that I was about 7 years old until I was probably about 17, give or take. So kind of a 10-year span there. And I bought up anything, X-Men or X-Force, anything X was my thing, right? During that 10-year span. And I am aware of a character called the High Evolutionary, but I don't know shit about him.
Yeah, honestly,
short story short, he's basically a guy who found a ton of alien technology. Since he's a genius, he used that technology to make a world of highly evolved animal people. And wants to rule humanity to help it evolve, and was probably one of those was the one responsible for the birth of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, because he found their mother when she was going to give birth and help her.
Yeah. So
they were basically his first subjects in test with humans.
Yeah. So I mean, I have more comics knowledge than the typical normie.
Yeah.
But I'm not deep into it like you do, right?
Yeah.
So if you take a guy like me, and to me a reveal of the High Evolutionary would be relatively meaningless. That says to me that whatever the big reveal is can't be that.
I would agree with that. But I do think there's a potential for him to be involved with this series, or with something spinning off of this series.
Oh, sure.
But I don't think he would be that reveal, because I think it is going to be Magneto, and I see a lot of stuff in the chat. I want to get into the heavy the intensifying.
That was when we asked you if you were okay there, Fenrir.
Yeah, because Central Dildo thought you were transforming. You were transforming into the Ice Wolf before our eyes and ears. Great episode. Now into it. Yeah. Kit Falbo, we are on the same page with this. I want Victor Von Doom. I've wanted Dr. Doom the entire fucking time.
Since the beginning.
I don't want him. I don't want him in WandaVision. I want him.
No.
It has to be with something that has to do with the Fantastic Four.
I heard there's a rumor he may be Black Panther's villain.
Not as an introduction.
Not as an introduction. No, I think he can interact with him though. No, this isn't the Captain. My computer. That's on the restart. Okay. Yeah, she recasted him, and that was cool. We'll get to that a little later.
Very cool.
Hell, just another red shirt. Obviously, you're not just another red shirt. Yeah. You are the red shirt, and I appreciate you being here, man. So Robert says Jackman Fassbender is not Luke Skywalker caliber, and my response to that is, did you grow up with the X-Men? Because I think I keep hearing that, and I'm like, you know what? You guys just didn't grow up with the X-Men. It just doesn't mean as much to you, so that's why you say that. If you did grow up with the X-Men comics, the cartoons, and the movies, you would feel a little bit differently about that. Because I, as somebody who did, this moment got me more emotional than the Luke Skywalker moment, straight up. If
it's true that the Quicksilver reveal was not the supposed Luke Skywalker moment, and I tend to believe that it wasn't. What's bigger than that? So we just got a character from another universe pulled in.
Professor X.
Yeah, so what's bigger? You got Professor X, you got Magneto, you've got.
But I think what his point is,
that's about all you got.
And maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but maybe what I'm taking at his point is that's still not as big as what Luke Skywalker is. Like, it's just like they can't make a Luke Skywalker moment because the Luke Skywalker moment is too big to be matched. And maybe that on some level is true, but I do have a love for the X-Men, and it's what they've done with the X-Men the past 20 years has been angering to me, especially in the comics, of them de-emphasizing them because of the rights issues, even though they were, to me, the X-Men are just as much as Marvel as any goddamn thing, and
they were
seeing them treated with respect is important to me. So that's why I kind of feel like I said, even the Quicksilver moment, I got more emotional on that than Star Wars. Now, a lot of that's because of how I feel about Lucasfilm, but I did. So that's just me.
The implications of him being at the door, and even before it being him. So there's an argument in the kitchen, and Wanda triggers the credits.
Yes.
Okay. And this is so fucking surreal. She's triggered the credits to basically say this discussion is over, Vision. And Vision's like, you can't control me like you do them.
Yeah.
Right? And clearly he's right that she can't, because he keeps going, right?
Yeah.
And they move the argument into the living room, and they continue to have the argument, and Vision is clearly himself.
Yes.
Okay. It is Vision. However he got there, whether it's some kind of basically virtual thumb drive because of Wanda's relationship to the Mind Stone or whatever the hell it is, this is legit Vision. And he clearly is independent of Wanda, which I think we all suspected, but it's absolutely certain now.
Yeah.
Right. And then he thinks when the doorbell rings that she did that in the same way she always brings Agnes over. And she insists it's not her. And then it's Quicksilver.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Yeah, she's obviously showing that her powers have a limit. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think she's controlling the whole show.
Dog saying that was beyond her. So probably
it's going to
brought back Vision if he was even dead to begin with, because let's be honest, he's half machine.
Mm-hmm.
True. He is half machine.
What did he really lose? His power source?
That can be replaced with Wanda's.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That may be what the mechanism for her bringing him back. She is powerful enough to bring Quicksilver and Vision back. She's more powerful than Captain Marvel. Obviously, she's more powerful than Captain Marvel.
Oh,
it goes without saying.
Yeah.
Like, she's always been the most powerful Avenger. Like, that's just how it is.
Yes.
This is my prediction. You know what? And I hope this is something like that, because I would love to see respect on both. My prediction, it will be first Sir Ian McKellen, but Wanda makes him young again and then gets Michael Fassbender, which I would be cool with.
That gets around the problem of his history that we were talking about the other day, V-Dub.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Instead of him being hundreds of years old. That would be the simplest answer. And Robert grew up with X-Men. So I love the X-Men and I want to see them treated with respect. Sentient grew up with X-Clan, which I also love for the hip-hop fans, but unfortunately that does not count in this discussion. But we were talking hip-hop on Matt's channel, and I actually talked about my song. Check out my song Dewey. It's on my channel.
That was a good stream, man. I enjoyed listening to that after the next day.
Because it went on a good 3 or 4 hours after you left. It was fun though.
Yeah, it was a 6-hour stream. It was good.
It was really fun. The chat, you guys are going off. My computer should be done with updating a few, but I was happen to be on, so I'm using it to stay in the chat. I appreciate that much dedication to stay in the chat. Stephanie Littlepage, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. How much is she actually controlling? I think Mephisto is already controlling quite a bit, especially if for that Quicksilver moment to happen shows that there are things even beyond her control. And yes, Gomer Kyle, they actually show that in the episode. She steals his body. She steals his body from their lab, and somehow he comes back to life. So it could be her as the energy source. If you remember, I think it was episode 3, they show like she sees Vision without the Mind Stone, and sees the grayed out dead face. So I think she can control him like the others, but doesn't want to. I think she only brought him back to life, and he has some ability, some autonomy. His mind, the stone is in his mind. I don't know. Maybe she made another Mind Stone. I don't know if she made another Mind Stone or is just using her power source, or if Mephisto. I'm just going to say it since Chad already said it. I think Mephisto's involved. House of M. I did not read House of M. I know Fimmer did, and he would be more of an expert. And I'm actually not going to read House of M until this is done, because I don't want to spoil anything else than I already have from being a YouTuber and listening to all the stuff. Hell, Draco. My stepson can tell you your influences and like your song. Yeah, I got a bunch of influences. I got a bunch of other songs to put out. So thank you, man. I appreciate you guys checking out my music. Hell, Draco. What do your guys thought on a dog in a bush moment?
That's an interesting question, and it is worth talking about.
Yeah, that was weird. Is Mephisto related to Kit Fisto? I don't know about that. I don't know who Kit Fisto is.
He's the tentacled Jedi in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, okay. But what are your thoughts on the dog in the bush with Agnes coming up with that dog? That shows again. Agatha Harkness is probably a good bet for Agnes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good bet.
They should have given it a cat. Should have been a cat.
Oh, but kids like dogs. They're boys. They like
Just-
dogs.
I like what they're doing with this show, but they should give much more callbacks to the characters. Making the dog a cat.
They could have. They could have.
Yeah.
Especially because the level of detail that they've been showing that shows that they have that amount of level of detail, so they could definitely do that.
Yes, it's beyond just what really caused the dog to die and who killed it, so to speak. I believe that it did eat her poisonous bush and die, but there's a fair question about what actually caused it. Was it Wanda? Was it Agnes? Hard to say.
Yeah,
but I think just as important about that is the little conversation she starts to have with the kids afterwards, where
that was great.
She tells them not to age up and deal with their pain and their grief over losing the dog. And going back to our earlier discussion about the layers and the nuance of this show, she's explaining to them why she did something horribly wrong. They want her to reverse the death of the dog. And she actually might be able to. And she talks about how you can't do that. You can't reverse death. And it's like, whoa. Wait a minute.
That was great. Like pot meat kettle moment. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pure cult to her own hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that was great. Coughing. Got the cough, it looks like. Let's see. There's nothing there. That was his history. This is safe Disney. Is worse is safe Marvel. Speaking of safe Disney, I want to bring another spoiler moment. You talk about the director who maybe aimed and swore. God damn it, if this was any other platform, when they had all those guns aimed at him, he'd have been dead. I wanted her so bad to kill him right at that moment. If she would have killed him, that would have just been so fucking awesome. Just blow his. I'm not trying to be violent, but just at any other show, that moment, that guy dies. You know what I mean? He dies. He took a shot at her. All those guns would have been aimed at her to show her power. She would have boom. He would have got shot down, and they would have had to deal with it. And that would have been great for the show, great for the moment. But this is Disney Plus, and it doesn't happen. So yeah, that safeness does bother me at times.
Yeah, Draco makes another interesting comment.
Yeah, almost like she is two people. So we'll see.
I think it goes back to Agnes and who's pulling her strings. So like Wanda is doing this, but somebody else is behind it.
Exactly. Hail to you, David Blair. When Agnes acts surprised when she said, "You can do that," seems like a big clue.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, the computer got updated. That's dope. Hell, I appreciate you being back. Draco. Actually, I'm thinking it's Howard Stern. Oh, alter ego, Dick, who's behind all this. When I say you, I'm not sure. Howard Stern. I mean, I don't think he'll ever dust off any of those old things. He's too woke for that nowadays. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, yeah.
As far as this, go ahead.
I mean, a new universe is opened here, right? Quicksilver's arrival from the X-Men universe. Wanda accepts him as her brother.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he's not.
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Not in this universe.
Yeah, and he accepts her as his sister when in the X-Men universe, he didn't even really have one that we know.
Not in the movie universe, he did not.
So all kinds of shit going on there.
And that was such a, to me, I don't know how many people are wrestling fans. It seems like wrestling always comes up on this show, but that was like the 90s of the NWO when fucking Razor Ramon's on WCW. Like, what the hell? He's like, I'm Scott Hall. He's but he's Razor Ramon. And you're like having that surreal moment of like, this doesn't belong here. But it's cool that it doesn't belong here and it's here. That's the same sort of feeling I got when I saw it. Like, this doesn't belong, and that's what makes it awesome. So I love that moment.
And we know this show leads up to Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Multiverse right in the title.
Yeah. Come on, people. You know it's Mikey Spock controlling it all. I'm not sure.
The bestest ever.
Bestest ever. It does. And now, when it was first announced that Scarlet Witch would be a part of the Multiverse of Madness, I think a lot of us kind of rolled our eyes like, what the hell? Why would she have anything to do with it? Now, after WandaVision, when you see Elizabeth Olsen can really handle this character and you understand why she would have an interest in the multiverse, now it seems like a great jumping off point into that movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got this weird theory that they're not going to finish everything about the show in the show, and they're probably going to continue it in the Multiverse of Madness.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah. Of course, when is that coming out? Not for another year?
Staying with Needle Dick. Well, you know what? That
stay true to yourself there, Paulie. If that's
it could be Needle Dick. It could be Ass Man. Who knows?
Have you been on the again, V-Dub?
I have not. No, that was another character that Howard Stern had. Speaking of the hub, somebody was into tentacles. Yeah, Central Dildo loves him some tentacles, so he needs to stay off the hub himself. When we're talking about that, get away from the sauce. So let me see what we got in the chat. Maybe she opens up the door to the multiverse and Doctor Strange has to close it. Maybe. Or maybe Mephisto does. Mikey Spock is in the pocket universe with similar crowd of people who worship her. She's completely mad and in a Federation mental facility. I feel bad for you guys who have to sit through that discovery.
Because Mikey Spock is pretty much everyone in that show are nothing but a bunch of angry gay lesbians. And this is the definition of the show.
Jeez. Yeah, lots of hate. Mikey Spock can bite me. Okay, there's tons of hate. Has
anyone in that show ever did any form of negotiation for peace without pointing a gun on someone else? For God's sakes.
It would go to Kyle, man.
It was me. It was me, Austin. It was me all along. More wrestling reference. This is ridiculous. And it was a great storyline until the reveal. But there's a ridiculous storyline where Vince McMahon kidnaps his own daughter just to mess with Stone Cold, and it almost sacrifices his own daughter to a demon in front of millions of people, if not for Stone Cold. And at the end, you find out it's Vince McMahon. It's me, Austin. It was me all along. They're like, this doesn't make sense at all.
Nothing makes sense today.
And it's one of those storylines that people thought of the decline, like where people started to say, I don't know if I want to watch wrestling anymore. It was one of those storylines. SCD is a giant set of cry closet. Oh man, you could just do that. You can do that. Just surrender. Hopefully, Rikishi can save us from the Vince. He did it for The Rock. We're getting all into wrestling, to 90s, 2000s wrestling when it was still good. But back to WandaVision itself. I think this is the best episode of the series. I think this is the best thing Disney Plus has produced overall. Granted, they only have 2 series, Mandalorian and this, so they need more before I can really say that. But so far, this is the best thing they've ever produced. Any closing thoughts? Because we've gone close to an hour on this, and I didn't want to go super long.
Closing thoughts. Is it 8 or 9 episodes in this series? Do you know, V-Dub?
I think it's 9. If the chat can correct this, but I believe it's 9 episodes.
Yeah, so we've got 4 more episodes left.
Yep.
And I'm excited, right? To see where they go, how they close this out. We've still got coming up, and I think it's the next episode, just because I don't think they would have sent the trailer beyond this. Yeah. But we're going to get to see the classic comic costume.
Yes. I cannot wait.
Oh, I can't wait to see that in the Halloween episode. And we know that Agnes is going to be in a car talking with Vision and asking him if she's dead, because we saw this in the first trailer.
Yeah, we did.
Am I dead? And he says, no, I don't know. Why? She says, because you are, right? So yet again, pointing to Agnes's being independent of Wanda's control, similar to what we saw in this episode.
Yeah.
And she's in a witch costume, which is yet another hint as to who Agnes is.
Yeah, I think Agatha Harkness, David Blair, and both Roberts say 9 episodes. So I believe there's 9 episodes.
Yeah. So it's going to be. So we're going to get that played out. I do believe we find out who the hell Agnes is. I think she's absolutely involved in pulling Wanda's strings in creating this reality. But what her goals and reasons for that are, that's going to be the important thing to find out.
Yeah. Let's get into the comments. The chat is so great. So let me get into you guys. Liked when Triple H fake married Stephanie when she was knocked out, and then they got real married in real life. Isn't that exactly what a person who's racist and ignorant as Mikey would imagine, especially in the world of Federation? So much hate. I'm so glad I've never watched this show.
Something incredibly racist. I'm insanely racist. Want to know why?
Why?
I'm watching the Duke Boys right now, and I'm enjoying every second of it.
Uh-oh. You're not supposed to do that. Draco, she's the best episodes, ever.
I'm enjoying it. I have no problem with the Robert E. Lee whatsoever.
Driving around in the General Censored? Yeah.
General Censored. Yeah, I mean, you get the Daisy Duke, so who cares? The shroom drive must be leaking. Mikey must be tripping. There's a shroom drive? Maybe I should watch this show. Needle Dick the Bug Fucker. So, I mean, shout out to the OG Howard Stern. Howard Stern is one of the saddest. You either die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Exactly. I mean, that's a guy.
I mean, Star Trek fandom has become something poisonous. I mean, now they're harassing William Shatner because he's refusing to make his character gay. Really, they're going to his house and breaking the windows.
They're breaking the windows of William Shatner's house?
No, they're just going there and probably throwing shit. Depends if it hits the windows.
If I'm William Shatner, invest in security.
The Shat will slap somebody down, I promise.
He needs to invest in Snoop Dogg security or Kyle Rittenhouse security. Neurotic calls us my preciousness.
Yeah, Gary's got a member stream getting going right now.
Oh, yeah, he does. I don't know if I have enough time to hop on it before Culture. March 5th, 2021 is the last episode. 9. This is for you, Jake D. 9, the same amount of episodes as CBS All Access is adaptation of the Stand.
God, there's only one left.
Alrighty.
I hate this show. It's god awful, but it's been a huge boon for the channel. I get so much watch time out of those review videos because everybody hates it.
Hey, gotta go with what's going. Just like I'm getting a lot of watch time out of this. This is getting one of the more popular streams. Great stream, Vigilante. It's 6:30 p.m. in London. Gotta make tea. Gotta enjoy tea. In her head. Okay, I'm not gonna sing. The salt must flow. The good old boys. Shout out to General Censored and the Dukes of Hazzard. Very problematic Fimmer. Yeah, how dare you're African. You're not supposed to enjoy this, Fimmer. Haven't you learned the rules? We have to re-educate you, Fimmer.
Screw their rules. I love what I love.
Yeah, you guys say hi. Don't shat on me. Somebody is shat on all of Star Trek, and I feel bad for you fans.
Yeah.
But they're starting to go back at Kurtzman. I did see that. He came out with, was it Clarice? And they bashed that.
Dude,
that's what it should have.
The mainstream rags are trashing not only Clarice, but Kurtzman himself.
I think, hey, they always eat each other. They always do.
They don't believe in anything they say. They don't like each other. They'll kill one another to make it on top.
Yeah, because all of this is really Machiavellian sociopaths who are using this this woke wave as a way of taking out their rivals. That's why you have that happen. Today, if you hit the horn on a General Censor, it goes ree, not Dixie. Unfortunately, it might. And there's no Daisy Duke. She has to wear like these long, ugly ass pants. Her hair's all blue and shit, shaved.
And she probably weighs 300 pounds.
300, yeah. That's the only way they'll let her in Daisy Dukes is if she weighs 300 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the first, otherwise that's completely covered. Watched the first season of STD, couldn't continue. I watched the first 20 minutes of Batwoman and also could not continue. I'd rather watch 5 different YouTubers review that woman and spend 3 hours doing it to give 1 hour to the CW. Batwoman is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I got 20
can't
minutes in. I
believe
couldn't.
for another freaking season. I mean, it's gonna be funny to watch the YouTubers crash it up, but it's just sad at this point. They're literally just shooting themselves at the leg over and over again.
It's money laundering. I'm convinced it's money laundering. There's no other logical reason that a corporation
What
that is
money?
in the debt.
Their other shows are failing hard.
Mhm.
The corporation that owns them is in too much debt to incur this series for anything. It's a tax write-off. It is a tax write-off. That's why they're doing it. All of these people who are getting hired, someone at AT&T figured, if we keep running this series, we can write the shit off. Really? We'll keep running that woke shit then. I don't give a fuck. And that's why it's on. There's no other reason. You cannot. There's no logical reason.
It's not generating a profit. There is no way in hell it's generating a profit.
No.
I mean, CBS All Access crashed so fucking hard. They're rebranding it Paramount Plus next month. It does not have an audience. It's not making money. It's a sink. It's this hole that's just making this sucking sound. And just like just like
Kennedy in the 80s.
I'm just envisioning $100 bills going down this giant black hole of discovery, and it's like Mikey Spock's mouth is just open and laughing, and the money's going in and going away.
For me, it's more like they're literally just putting it in a hot tub, slowly made with gasoline, throwing the money in, and just putting matches constantly, just watching it burn.
Yeah. Tupac reference. Oh no, we already did that. The cannibalized Clarice. It took a long time. Yeah. Oh man, I love this one. The Duke boys wear skinny jeans and would have pronouns.
Z and Zer.
Oh, let's not give them ideas. Let's not give them fucking ideas to wokify the Duke boys so they can come back.
Yeah, and there's another comment. Someone did the General Lee on colors. A smart car called it the General Wee. Oh
I've
man.
seen that.
This LOL Stephanie. Shout out to Jay Longbone. She has good reviews of Batwoman, and that's entertainment. More entertaining than a show, definitely. And this is the one I wanted to get to. Yeah, now it's a pride flag on top of the pronoun Lee. So the pronoun Lee.
Are we sure it's not the general pronoun?
No, it's the pronoun Lee because you have to represent Asians, and you were you were culturally appropriating. Robert E. Lee was culturally appropriating the word Lee from Asians, according to SJWs. So that way, it's the pronoun Lee.
Generation.
Lee,
and it
keep a pride flag
on the horn.
Yep, and it's for social justice, obviously.
It's driven by a 300-pound blue-haired land whale.
Exactly.
Fucking. And I bet the cop would. I bet the cop would have been turned into what a racist white guy with homophobic beliefs.
Yeah, he can still be a cop. That's the only thing that can remain.
Robert E. in the top of the trunk. Be the one with the Robert E. Lee in the trunk.
Well, he is the enemy, so he can still be a cop in the new show.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, he's the one with the Confederate flag and everything. That's how it's gonna work. And maybe they do have an insurance against a failed shows. I think there's something because these companies still need to make money. I talked about in the last episode of The Brave and the Bold. I think they're tricking us with stuff like WandaVision to fund their garbage. So I think there's an intention for getting a third season out of stuff like Discovery and Batwomen. It's like, okay, we can write this off. And Jay Longbone is hilarious. Jake D reminds me of a manlier Nick Rekieta.
Thank you, Robert.
You're more masculine than Nick Rekieta.
I think.
What that's worth.
I think that's a compliment. Yeah.
I would say so. And General Zer, yes. General Zer. Or General They or General Them. So yeah, that's everyone from the chat. Fimmer, what's your closing thoughts on WandaVision before we get out of here? Because I do got to get into it.
Well, it is a good show with good homage. I mean, even the dog was a great homage to the Vision comics when he made the dog for his synthetic family and called it Sparky. I mean, it even died almost the same way.
This
show, they even gave it the same name?
Yeah, it was the same name, Sparky.
Nice, good touch.
So that's what the reference was. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm really confused if this is gonna go directly as the House of M, or are we gonna stop with the same result on the Vision comic where pretty much everyone kills themselves?
Oof. I don't think it'll get that dark. Like I said, if it was going to get that dark, they would have off the director right then and there.
Doesn't seem that great because let's be honest, could be a possible. It doesn't seem that great. I mean, she literally threatened sword agents that did not enter into her world. I mean, she might be killed.
Vision sacrificing himself to end this altered reality that Wanda created seems to be a very legit possibility for how this ends.
Yeah, I can see that.
I know it's Disney, but I still got my money on the kids dying and making her go super crazy.
I think they are because it's just the way they're aging. I think they'll be unstable and end up dying, and that could be what triggers her. Oh man, Wes, right at the end. Hell, Wes Moody.
Glad to have you, Wes.
Right at the end.
All right, we got to run over to Culture Stream, huh, Vidge?
Yeah, I got to do Culture Stream. So I appreciate Fenrir the Ice Wolf and Jake D and all of you in the chat. It's too many to name. This is a pretty lively chat and a lot of hate for old Mikey Spot, which I love. So thank you. If you watch the video, if you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe and you haven't already, please. Oh wait, I gotta promote you guys' channels. What am I doing? Jake D, promote your channel.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, you can find me at Jake D. You'll know you got the right channel if you see this logo right here. One of these days, I'll have to come up with a more original channel name. But for now, it's Jake D, by God. And we do lots of pop culture coverage. Typically have a Howling About Entertainment show Sunday evenings. We're going to do it a little bit early and very abbreviated today because, frankly, competing against the big game, just nobody's going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have made the stream today if it wasn't.
So we're going to keep it short. We'll do a little bit of WandaVision and kind of talk about plans for the near future because we are running out of prestige television to cover right now. So we're going to have to make a few adjustments for the next couple of months while we wait for the next big shows to come out. So we'll be talking about that this evening. And other than that, man, that's appreciate you having me on. We're all frequent guests on each other's channels, and it works, man. It works good. It's good chemistry.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being on, man. Thank you for showing up. Didn't mean to skip on promoting, just trying to rush so I can get a little bit of time to get something to eat before Culture Stream. Fenrir, the Ice Wolf, who again, I've said this before, he has more subs than I did when I had like 80, 90 videos before I had 30 subs. He already has more subs than that. But still sub to him anyway, because I love him.
Okay, then. Okay, you all know me. I'm Fenrir. If you want to find me, just look on YouTube for Fenrir Wolf channel. If you see this image, it's me, no one else. I still have no videos, but still subscribe to my channel because the peer pressure will make me do something sooner or later. And if you want to find me, I'm almost always on Jake D's channel, Vigilante's channel, or
you're on Nick Weiser's a lot too.
Yeah, on Nick Weiser's channel too. So you guys will find me there.
Yeah, he's around. I love him like a little brother. He's also a great writer, which is one of the reasons that we want him to do a channel, and so he can start writing this stuff when he gets older. So thank everyone who is in the chat. Please sub to these two fine gentlemen. If you haven't subbed here, please. Well, I don't know what you're doing, but you should sub here. Thank you for my man in the Twitch because we had some love from Twitch. So yeah, if you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share, subscribe, please do so. Let me know in the comments below if you're watching this on the replay. And even if you do none of these things and all you do is watch, thank you for watching and thank you for your time. God bless everybody. Have a good Super Bowl Sunday and enjoy the game if that's what you're doing. Peace.